I swear to God, I can't not think about that Christian Slater movie every single time I listen to this to that song. It gives me such a good vibe to do this shit. Hello, everyone. We're at it again. Another episode of Smells Like Cologne. Glad that you're listening again and downloading. Appreciate it. Sorry, I was a couple of days late. Busy. But like lots of stuff went on. A lot of shit went on. My friend recently is getting me into soccer. I'm interested in, I want to learn about the sport. I want to get excited because it just seems so exciting. Like everyone I know who watches it, it's just crazy. So I'm like, all right, I'm gonna give this a go. And of course, I want to watch, and a guy just drops dead in the middle of the fucking game. I mean, he's alive, but like the guy just dropped dead. Like he was dead. Heart stopped, everything. Apparently, only reason this guy is still alive is because like someone immediately started doing compressions. So, wow. I mean, I highly doubt that every game that I watch is going to be, that crazy. But I mean, if that's what brings you soccer people to the table, bloodthirsty motherfuckers. I never seen anything like that before. I wish I knew the guy's name. I know no one in soccer. I know from what I've been told. I know that there's a Messi. I know that there's a Ronaldo. I know that there's a Zlatan. I know that there's a Rooney. And that's all I got. I remember I saw this movie. Oh God, why can't I remember the name? But it was with Elijah Wood, and it was with Charlie Hunnam, who played Jax in Sons of Anarchy. What the heck was this called? Green Street Hooligans. There we go. Green Street Hooligans. They were what? They were fans. They were a part of like a football, I guess, gang or something like that. But they what was it? Man, I think it was Southampton, West Hampton, Southwest Hampton. I don't know, something in England. But yeah. Soccer, crazy. I don't. If people keep on dying, I don't know how much longer I could watch that. That's insane. So E3 was this past week, and I'm primarily an Xbox guy. I just started getting into the wonders of PC. If I had to go down like list of priorities, like I had like X amount of dollars and I was going to buy certain things in a certain order, what would I get? It would be 100% Xbox first, PlayStation second, then Nintendo third. Nowadays with PC, I'm like, I don't know. PC is a lot of fun. I fought that for forever. I wanted nothing to do with it. I was like, keyboard and mouse? No. I don't like it. It should only be for real-time strategy, the end, because the mouse is a really cool way to just control your minions and shit. But, yeah, no, I figured out you could just plug your Xbox controller into it, and it's basically just like playing on a console, except it could look a hell of a lot better. I'm super excited about that. But, anywho, E3 came out with a lot of shit. I have Game Pass, and majority of the stuff that I saw was basically for Microsoft. So, I mean, a shit ton of games I'm going to pay $0 for, pretty much. My entire rest of the year in terms of gaming is stacked. I got my crew who I game with at night. We're definitely going to be sprinkling in some Warzone in there because we're addicted, and I hate it, but I love it. But like in between that and the times where I actually want to enjoy video games and have fun, definitely a lot of cool games scattered about. Diablo, definitely going to play. Ascent, definitely going to play. Back 4 Blood, definitely going to play. Battlefield, definitely going to play. New Halo, come on now. Of course I'm going to play it. New Call of Duty, I mean, it's Warzone, right? Done. Take my money. So a lot of fun. But there is a valuable lesson, I feel, that I think gamers by now should know. Pre-ordering anything is stupid. The only reason pre-ordering is a smart idea is if it's rarity, if it's a limited quantity, like consoles and shit like that, or special edition of games that come with, some knickknack or tchotchke or whatever the fuck, and that you gotta have. I have half of my friends' bullshit in my house. I know he's listening. Get your shit out of my house, Wyman. I have all of these video game mementos that just taking up all my closet space, bro. Gotta get it out of here. Unless it's something like that, pre-order it. But like games nowadays, come on now. After Cyberpunk, not only that, like anything, even items. Like if it's rarity, fine, but like, I don't know. I would say if it's like rarity, like limited edition, okay, I get why you're pre-ordering it. A lot of things, like a new model of something that comes out every year, you want to kind of take that. I have a philosophy in terms of technology, that, yeah, sure, it's being tested and product tested and all this good stuff. I want to see how it is out in real life when consumers have bought it, when they're using it with their stuff, whether it's software or hardware or anything. Because 9 times out of 10, whatever bugs are in it are figured out by the consumer and who bought them. So I just feel like nowadays there's such a rush to get stuff out because the demand is so high that they put out some like 78%, 85%, 92% finished product. And we just have to just deal with the fact that they're going to come out with a whole bunch of updates and patches and shit for the next however long. You know what I mean? Or if they find out like, oh, this part is faulty and now, you need to bring these back so we can get you the ones that are right. Like, enough. I'm not going to deal with that shit. I would rather a whole bunch of people go and buy that shit first and do all that, be my guinea pigs and my lab rats. Do that. Spend your money and see if it works or if it doesn't work, or see if the game's going to be fun or not going to be fun. And then, once all that misery is ended, I will come through, spend my hard-earned money, and buy whatever I need to buy or download what I ever need to download or whatever the hell. But no way am I falling for pre-ordering again. It's bullshit. It's all hype machines. You watch like E3, half of it is just like, get excited. But it's not like, this is what you're going to get. I get excited for seeing what I'm going to get. I get excited for seeing what my product is going to look like when I use it. Not any cinematics, not any of this bullshit. And to tell you the truth, this is now something I'm starting to believe in with trailers, and I'm talking about fucking Marvel, those scumbags. A lot of the times, if you watch their trailers, a lot of the stuff in the trailer never shows up in the movie. Never shows up. If, for an example, the first trailer for Infinity War had this, that heroic shot where everyone's running towards you. It's like, duh, 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 duh. It's like whatever. And they got Captain America, and they got, they got Black Panther, and they got Michonne running out there. And in the background, you see Hulk. He's like, just running, just like regular Hulk in green. You watch the movie, scene never occurs. Now, flash forward to WandaVision, where all they did was cock tease you the whole time. They have Evan Peters come in. You think that, all this good, crazy shit's going to happen. And now, nothing. Everything in that show was a nothing burger. They were nope. Just long enough for you to watch the end of the season, and nothing was what you thought it would be. Like, thanks. I don't need to be gimmicked, all right? I watch wrestling, okay? I got enough gimmicks through that shit. Like, I expect more from like other art forms. You know what I mean? Like that. Like that's just like money ruining the business. You know what I mean? It's just all about trying to figure out what the magic formula is so you could pump out hit after hit with whoever the fuck you put in these roles, and that's pretty much it. You know what Marvel movies are? It's like paint by numbers for actors. You know what I mean? Everyone's like, oh my God, this person's getting this Marvel role. It's going to be so exciting. Well, yeah, I mean, they get exposure, but that's not acting, That's dancing. They tell you to dance and you dance, Shoot this guy. Look at this thing. Green screen. The ends. I get it. And they're cool. I watched all of them, I was there for, for the end, for Endgame. waiting online like everyone else, watching that shit, making sure anyone who walked out of the earlier showings didn't spoil that shit for me. Like I get it, but like, nowadays they're just trying to come out with a certain formula of movies, and all the movies are the same, and then they're going to come out with one all the time, and now everything's a universe, and everything's connected, and then you go from movie universes to TV universes, then the movie and the TV universe is going to collide. Like, enough. You know what I miss? Stories. I miss one good movie. They're making that, they're trying to make a sequel to Joker. Why? The story they told was great, and I felt like it was the only story that had to be told. Now, if you're going to do a sequel and you're going to continue to explore this character, the only logical next step for Joker is his ascent as the clown prince of crime, as one of the greatest antagonists in storytelling ever, to be the number one villain for one of the greatest protagonists in the history of storytelling. And you mean to tell me that now, like, you think that lightning could strike twice, that you could tell that story again? God bless you. But honestly, I feel like those stories can't be told in a trilogy format unless you're very skilled and you have a great script and you have a great actor. Now, Todd Phillips, yeah, he did this movie awesome. Joaquin Phoenix, cool. As long as he doesn't go psychotic, like, I think he could make anything awesome. But, like, I don't know, man. It's like, why? Why couldn't they just leave well enough alone? You want to know what was a movie that they did and they never had to do anything else after the fact? Fight Club. Fight Club was Fight Club. They made Fight Club and that was it. They didn't have a sequel where it's like, Marla's sister comes and they're trying to, like none of this bullshit. You know how they made like a second Sandlot? Like, the second Sandlot's bullshit. The second Sandlot doesn't count, all right? Like, sure, they could, you could get away with it with Air Bud because no one expected much out of that movie. But, like, come on, man. Like, why do you have to pound these stories into the dirt, Okay, like, for example, so Jupiter's Legacy, one of the most watched shows on Netflix history. One season canceled, but we're making a universe. But how? Like, why should I bother getting behind the universe? You know what I mean? It's just like there's too much of a rush to franchise it and make multiple spinoffs. One of the rare spinoffs that actually worked? Fear the Walking Dead. Fear the Walking Dead is a better show, in my opinion, than Walking Dead. And if you want to argue that the first couple of seasons of Walking Dead, can't be beat, okay, like, I'll give you that. You want to know why? Because they were pretty close to the comics. You know what I mean? The comics are a great story. The comics are too good of a story to put on cable TV primetime on a Sunday. The comics are good enough story to put on Cinemax at 10 o'clock on a Friday, or HBO at HBO in the same time slot where you could get away with more shit. Because if you actually read the Walking Dead graphic novel, the stories there were far better than the stories that they told on the show. And the reason why the stories were far better was because the show was handicapped by standards and practices. Now, granted, I don't know if, you want any of your kids to see the shit that Robert Kirkman was putting in the comics for your kids and on a Sunday night at 8 o'clock. Like, I get that. But for me, as someone who wasn't bothered by it because they were telling a story, I felt like the show was crippled. So Fear the Walking Dead was not handicapped by a show failing to follow a comic. Fear the Walking Dead was a zombie show set in that universe with all new characters, but it was made for television. And I felt like because it was made for television, they were able to tell a better story because they already knew what story they had to tell. They just had to tell it within the Walking Dead universe. And granted, now there are characters who have crossed over from regular Walking Dead to Walking Dead. But I'll tell you this right now, consistently, Fear the Walking Dead had some of the best storytelling on AMC. And it was better than Walking Dead. Like, Walking Dead fell off a cliff at, once it started getting up to the prison and they really started veering away from the comics. Well, actually, I don't know. I mean, they really started veering away from the comics after season 2, but it was just beyond the point of no return. Like, characters became irredeemable. It was just filler episodes. Like, you would think by now that they would get used to people like dying. Like, everyone dies all the time, but there's got to be episodes where I need to be by myself, and then I'm gonna fall off a cliff, and then my leg is broken, and then I'm gonna be trapped by one zombie that I would definitely be able to take on my best day, but not today because my leg's broken. And then they come to this come to Jesus moment, and that's it. How many times do I need to see the same characters come to Jesus moments for different dead characters? Enough is enough. Fear the Walking Dead, fantastic. It was a different dynamic because it had to do with a family instead of a group of strangers that like had scattered little mini nuclear families here and there or whatever. But I'm telling you, if your Fear of Walking Dead could be what it was and what it should have become, you should watch Fear the Walking Dead. You won't be disappointed. The show is still going on right now, and the storytelling is still fantastic. Still fantastic. But it's like it's just too many. They're just pumping out too much bullshit now. Like, for example, John Wick. John Wick was an awesome movie. John Wick, I feel, was such an awesome, like, it was such a great movie and was so well received that, like, they knew they had something there, and they were extremely fortunate that John Wick 2 was even better than John Wick 1. John Wick 2 was awesome. I think that might be my favorite out of the three. But the third one was still pretty good. I just felt like the antagonist was But, and obviously they're going to make a fourth, and now they're going to have a show called The Continental, but it's going to be based on, like, the early days of the Guild of Assassins and blah, blah, blah. But now what's happening is there are now John Wick movies. And I'm not saying John Wick movies like the John Wick trilogy. I'm talking about John Wick-esque movies. Movies that are like John Wick, but it's not John Wick. I'm going to call them John Wick. Like the John Wick genre. John Wick? I mean, next to the name of this fucking podcast, that's one of the greatest things I've ever come up with. I mean, one of the greatest things I could come up with that I can actually recall and remember. But John Wick, oh, God. God damn. I almost wish I had a Twitter just so I could make that a hashtag in some bullshit. Oh, my Lord. All right. Anywho. But, like, okay, so John Wick 1 came out. I believe John Wick 2 came out before Atomic Blonde. Now, Atomic Blonde gets a pass from me. Now, an argument could be made that Atomic Blonde could be a John Wick movie because Keanu Reeves did his own stunts, his own gunfighting. So did Charlize Theron. John Wick had really good one-shots. So did it have a one-shot? I don't know. I feel like 1 didn't, but 2 did. But like one long tracking shot, I don't know. But Atomic Blonde had a fantastic one. It was really, really good. It reminded me of the one-shot fight scenes from Daredevil on Netflix. It was awesome. That gets a pass because John Wick was creating, like, the second movie kind of really it gave the universe more life. You know what I mean? Like John Wick 1, it definitely lets you know that, he was a part of a larger world or whatever, and you were getting introduced to it and stuff like that. Like, I get that. But, like there's the hotel and there's rules and it's a safe haven and the currency is gold coins and these weird people with typewriters that somehow send text messages to all these assassins. There's a guild. There's all these ruling families. There's a high table, blah, blah, blah. Cool. I get that. That's awesome. I like story. I'm a big Lord of the Rings fan. I'm all about large stories, not so much universes, but big sprawling stories with lots of characters, and lots of intrigue and mythos. But okay, but Atomic Blonde didn't have any of that. Atomic Blonde was a Cold War spy story. All right. Yes, the main character, like the actor who plays the main character, did their own stunts and stuff like that. Yeah, cool. But I wouldn't consider that very loosely a John Wick movie. An argument could be made that it was a John Wick, but I don't know if it was a John Wick. Now let's go to another one. And this one I feel like is the most egregious of all of the transgressors. All right. the heck was that movie called? Lollipop Milkshake something. It's with Karen Gillan. How did I forget the name of this? Milkshake Jukebox? I want to just search Milkshake on Netflix. Gunpowder Milkshake. Gunpowder Milkshake, if you watch the trailer, she goes to the library and she asks for a Jane Austen, which probably means it's an AK-47. Like, all right, we get it. It's a female John Wick. Cool. This is legitimately a John Wick. You know, this is a female fucking John Wick. They even have Angela Bassett as, like, the concierge kind of things. You know what I mean? Like, am I going to watch it? Of course I'm going to watch it. Why? Because I got to see if it's any good. The trailers right now, I already know it's a John Wick ripoff, but can it do it good? Other movies. All right, Proud Mary. Proud Mary was another John Wick, all right? She was more of like I think she was like more of like a PI or a cop or something like that. But, like, that movie blew. Like, what's another one? Peppermint with Jennifer Garner. That one, not as John Wick as, you know, Gunpowder Milkshake, but, you know, definitely kind of like I would say almost like a female Death Wish. I feel like Jennifer Garner did a lot of the gunplay in the movie and some of the fighting, but not all the fighting, so I wouldn't give her as much props as I would give Charlize Theron in terms of how much she got into the role. Here's another John Wick. Nobody. Nobody was close. Nobody. He was a ex like cleaner for like the CIA or some bullshit, or the NSA or the government. He was like Black Ops. You know what I mean? And he had his connections and stuff like that, but like he wasn't using dumb lingo. Like he wasn't. You know what I mean? Like, he's not going to a pizza place and saying, I need the pepperoni and it's a bazooka and some shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like that would be a movie for, like, some, like, fat comic to play where he would just be like a John Wick, but, like, he goes to the pizza place and he gets his guns and it's like, and it's like Cheech Marin as the whatever. Like, you know, like, okay. Like, I just feel like there's just no, you know, like, originality is a barren wasteland, I feel like. Right about now. Everyone's trying to be the next somebody instead of being their own them. You know what I mean? I mean, like, yeah, the argument could be made that I'm trying to rip off of the Christian Slater thing, but I mean, you know, he did some gross shit on his show. I'm not gonna do that shit. But you know what I mean? But like, you know, like you go and you look on YouTube and like every Twitch streamer, they even have the same fucking thumbnails, you know? Like, you know, like I'm a Warzone player, so like I like to, you know, see, you know, what's going on in the community and, you know, or, you know, like what guns are good and who's using what and getting ideas and looking at people who have high wins and seeing what strategies, you know? Like, to me, I consider it like someone who plays football and watches football film. Like, you watch it to learn and to study so you can be better when you play. But it's like every single one of these guys, gun is OP, no recoil, broken, gun is OP, broken, TikTok gun, create your own. He created this. I created. They even have the same fonts, dude. Like, it's just 60,000 of the same fucking people playing the same fucking game, but it's in different tones of voice and slightly different personalities. Fuck it. I don't care anymore. Jay God's the only one. Be the end. Just because he just is like, hey, here's some stats. This is what guns could be good. If you combine these attachments, like, that's all I want, man. I like information. I'm an information whore. I love that shit. I don't want any fluff. I don't care. I don't want to hear, YouTube, what's going on today, man? Listen, get the fuck out of my face with that shit. Enough. Click on the bell. Subscribe. Like. Bell gang. Yo, like 76% of you watch, but about like 26% of you subscribe. Fuck off, man. Fuck off. I sell shit for a living, all right? The last thing I want to do is like sit down in my entertainment and still try and sell me shit. I don't want to be sold anything. I don't want to be sold. When I watch a show, when I watch a movie, I don't want to be sold a product. I don't even necessarily want to be sold an ideology. I want to be sold a great story. I want to get taken on an awesome journey. I want the movie or show that I want to introduce me into a world, get me connected to the characters, make me invested in where they're going, and give me a satisfying payoff where they get to where they need to be. That's what I want. I feel that makes me a happy customer. Why? Because they are making a product and I am consuming it. So I don't want to consume shit. But they keep on moneying up these movies and it's getting absolutely ridiculous. God. It's like, I feel like, you want to know what I think? I feel like sometimes the reasons why storytelling nowadays is so hard is because I feel like we've forgotten how to communicate. I feel like it's a lost art. You know what I mean? I'm old enough. I had a pen pal. You wrote letters, you waited, and I remember emails and shit. Like when that first started, like there's no conversation. There's quick takes. You know what I mean? Like Twitter's like what, 140, 100, I don't even know. They increase the amount of characters. I don't even know. That's not a conversation. Imagine you standing in the middle of a mall and you're having a discussion with someone you don't know. Like you're basically just having a discussion with a wall that talks to you because you have no way of verifying whether or not the person you're talking to is just some kid doing something, just some creepy old dude. You have no idea how to actually confirm who is talking to you. Even the blue check marks, you have no idea whether or not this is run by a PR team or the actual person. Sometimes, yeah, but you don't know. You can never tell me with 100% honesty, that it's not being run or influenced by someone else other than the person you're trying to talk to. So imagine you're just talking to this wall that talks back to you in the middle of a mall, in a crowded mall. But you guys aren't whispering. You guys are yelling at each other. You guys are yelling at each other loud enough that other people can hear. Now, I'm using yelling as a metaphor for the fact that your sound travels and is able to hit more people. And sound traveling and hitting more people is using the vehicle of Twitter and the internet to reach more people. All right, that's the goddamn analogy. In case you didn't fucking get it, and then anybody who hears could jump in. Now, whoever jumps in, you have no idea who they look like either. So what you're doing is you're just talking to brick walls that are shouting at you. How is that communicating? You know what I mean? How is that talking? Someone said this long ago, and I feel like it always stuck with me, and it holds true. Communication is the lifeblood of relationships. Now, I don't care what kind of relationship we're talking about, but you have to be able to speak and exchange ideas and thoughts and feelings. But when you're breaking that flow of actually, that you would only otherwise get when you're just talking with someone face to face, how is that a way to have a conversation? Then all of a sudden someone jumps in and you got to respond to this person. Then you have to respond to that person. And then you have to respond for your response to the response. It's insanity. It's insanity. And now all that it is now is it's given us an excuse to only read so far. When was the last time you read something that was longer than 300 characters? You know what I mean? You know what I'm talking about. You know the people. You know the people that send you those links and you read the title and you're just like, oh, Christ. And then all of a sudden you actually read the article and you're just like, bro, did you even read this shit? Do you know what this is saying? Well, no, what is it saying? What do you mean, no, what's it saying? Why the fuck are you sending it to me then if you haven't read anything? There are people out there that do that. It's just clickbait, title, hopping on garbage, nonsense. Is this what we become? I have conversations with people and it's just strictly emojis. And sometimes that's not... It's not by fucking choice. Just some people just don't want, it's just the weirdest way of communicating. We've gone from full words to just smirks and devil faces and eyeballs and shit like that. It's just, it's out of control. I feel like the reason, and I feel like that's why the reason why there's just so much confusion and division, because we're not talking to one another. We're not having conversations with one another. It's just a bunch of talking heads. It's a bunch of hot takes. It's a bunch of, viral tweets. It's just, that's not how this was meant to go, I feel. I mean, call me old fashioned, but I just feel like it was now, like, yeah, is it fantastic to spread information pretty quickly? Yeah, there are benefits that no matter what my personal feelings are, I can't deny. There are personal benefits, but if you really want to avoid the sour parts of it, it just honestly takes a modicum of self-control. Or just jumping out of it completely and having actual conversations with actual people and exchange actual ideas. You know what I mean? And then what's unfair is that then those people end up becoming pseudo-representatives for other kinds of thoughts or opinions or ideology. Like, since when did a person with the ability to create an infinite amount of accounts get enough clout to become a spokesperson just because they've thrown a curveball into your life? Like, unreal. But you know what? Don't let yourselves be trapped by it. Honestly. Do not let yourselves be trapped by it. Do not spend I don't know. I just feel like life's better outside of the sphere. Like, I honestly, and I'm pretty cynical, but I will tell you this. Like, the world isn't perfect. The world isn't great. It's not all sunshine and rainbows, to quote Rocky. But, like, I don't think it's as bad as what you read. You know what I mean? I don't think it's as bad as what you read. I think, like, yes, there is bad, but I think that, I don't know, or I guess I hope that people are more approachable and willing to talk in person. You know what I mean? And I also feel like talking in person, you have to own what you say a little bit more. I mean, it's easy to be a nameless, faceless person or whatnot. But I think talking in person, it makes you own what you're saying, and it allows you to take responsibility for it. It puts your name and your face and your reputation, not just an AVI or some kind of account that could be deleted and you could just walk away from the concourse together and just, take your ball and go home. Like, you actually have to live with those real life consequences of the people that you talk to in person and that you interact with. You know what I mean? That's why I also feel like, long form conversation, I feel, is great. Long form conversation is just another form of storytelling. But it's stories that, it's so much deeper than that. Stories that lead to new ideas and inventions and new ways of thinking and ways to better humanity and stuff like that. Like, like stories in movies, they elicit joy and stuff like that. It's entertainment. You know what I mean? It's meant to take you on a ride. But, like, the actual stories in real life that we're having through the conversations we have with people next to us, the results of those stories are so much more spectacular. You know what I mean? It's just, I don't know. I encourage you to do two things. Number one, do something that makes you feel free. Do something that, like, just you want to do for you. You know what I mean? Don't feel bad about it. Don't feel guilty about it. Say, you know what? I'm going to do this for me. I'm going to do something for myself. Nothing wrong with doing that. And sometimes a lot of people, they just do so much for others. They almost, they tie their wants and needs into doing for others. But, like, do something for yourself. You want to take, even if it means taking an hour nap when you normally don't, do it. Give yourself some rest and some reward for what you're doing, because, life's a journey and it's tough, but we all deserve some sort of respite. Number two, have a conversation with somebody, like, in real life. You know what I mean? Like, a meaningful one, actually, like, sit down and just be like, and just, like, chit chat with someone. Like, don't let it be over text or whatever. I'm talking about, like, I'm not even talking like, a lunch break, like, chit chat with your coworkers. I mean, like, actually spend some time in your personal time to, like, sit down and, like, have some, like, quality time with someone you care about. That's some good shit, That's good medicine. Those are two things that would be great. So I have an idea for, I think it might be the next episode, or I might just sprinkle it in and make it a surprise, because I feel like the topic of this would actually be kind of cool, might actually garner some excitement. So I feel like if there's excitement to be made, I want to build suspense to it. I am going to dedicate an episode to the best Nicolas Cage movies ever. Like my top Nicolas Cage movies. Like the Nick Cageiest of Nick Cage movies that are out there. Nick Cage is a goddamn national treasure. Pun. Nick Cage is awesome. All right. Now I know like like he made like some like awesome blockbusters out in like the 90s or whatnot, and then kind of then had the resurgence with the National Treasure movies because like Michael Bay and Jerry Bruckheimer could do no wrong basically with Nicolas Cage. But like now he just makes these crazy movies. Like, if you want a sample of like a crazy Nick Cage movie, it has yet to come out, but just watch the trailer because I feel like it is the Nick Cageist trailer of all time. Just look up Pig. Go on YouTube, look up Pig trailer, Nicolas Cage. Oh my God. I mean, like, if you haven't delved into the rabbit hole that is like Nick Cage straight to DVD movies or Nick Cage not nationally released like indie films, like there are some banger films that he has in there, and then there are some whacked out films that are just hysterical. But like, definitely, if you're into some like crazy, like if you're ever in the mood for some crazy Nick Cage shit, like you want to be entertained, you want to laugh, like a movie maybe like I'll let you know the movies that I feel like you should take seriously because the stories are good, and then there are other ones where you should just enjoy the fucking ride because it's Nick Cage being full throttle fucking Nick Cage. But that episode is coming. Maybe next episode, maybe the episode after that. Who knows? But you're definitely going to you're definitely going to be able to hear the excitement in my voice when I'm leading up to that episode because I can't fucking wait. Nick Cage is the man. All right. Thank you again for listening. To those who are subscribing and listening weekly, I appreciate it. And I think that it's also really cool that you all are sharing it with others. I'm getting downloads from all over the place. I really appreciate it. If you keep on enjoying it and, keep sharing it. Do as what you will. But if you're enjoying this for yourself and you don't share with anyone, I appreciate that you're enjoying this and taking time to listen to what I have to say. That's some cool shit. I appreciate you. But that's it. Till the next time, toodaloo, motherfuckers.